And a very pleasant afternoon to you, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the press box here at Gil Cone Field as we're on the eve of opening day in the opening series for Brevard College baseball, joined now by head coach Mike Victory. Coach, thanks for joining the program.
Thanks for doing this. Appreciate it.
Well, we're excited for this special edition of Tornado Talk as we preview the season with the home opener this weekend. I'd be remiss not to mention it is snowing at the moment, so weather permitting, we'll get this in this weekend. Hopefully all indications are that they will go on as scheduled. Friday, 2 p.m. first pitch versus Piedmont, Saturday, 1 p.m., and then Sunday, 1 p.m. Do want to mention also it is a special weekend for NATO Nation and for the Brevard College baseball program, as the series will be dubbed the Gil Cone Memorial Series, a tribute to Brevard College alumnus and legend Gil Cohen Sr., class of 1941. Just a tremendous figure in the world of Brevard College athletics, Brevard College baseball, this community here. His memorial service is taking place on Saturday as well. And, Coach, I know, you feel really good about being able to dub this series the Gil Cohen Memorial Series.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely disappointed that I never got to meet Gil. Everyone that I've run into that has had some sort of interaction with him has only had great things to say. A couple of his former players have come and seen us practice and had a Gil story that they wanted to tell me, and they're great to hear in the way they talk about him. You can tell that he was passionate about baseball and passionate about the players that he worked with. So definitely a big loss for the baseball community and the Brevard community. So it's going to be a nice weekend, and hopefully there's some people that can come out and see his field again and see what we're putting together out in the baseball field.
Fantastic, Coach. Yeah, and just a tremendous career. He had a successful professional career, after he left Brevard College. You may be able to see behind us some of these artifacts, these photos of pictures with former presidents and, in the Orioles and Washington Senators uniform, and, the outpouring of, support for his family and friends and everything after his passing was tremendous these last couple of weeks. And I know you saw some things on social media.
Yeah, we had I think it was the MLBPA Historical Society tweeted out about him, and that was pretty neat to see. The Orioles tweeted out at him and talking about the tremendous loss for them as well. And it's good to see that someone who played so long ago is still being remembered by important people out there in the world, and it's great to see how far and wide his impact has been spread.
Fantastic. Well, at the top of the show, I did mention it's snowing here on Thursday, the eve of the opening weekend. And, Coach, a lot of folks might not realize what goes on behind the scenes at a baseball diamond, when weather is a factor. And I know, this might be aggravating at times when you've got, snow the eve before your opening day. But the reality is you guys have been working hard this week as far as getting the field prepared and doing whatever you can to resist this weather,
sure.
and hopefully this weekend go off as scheduled.
Yeah, I mean, it's a shout-out to the guys and the work that they put in when we asked them to. They did a great job yesterday getting some things that were a little bit overdue in terms of some edging done and, fixing the little pieces that fall off the fence, and they just say, yes, coach, and go get it done. And that's really helpful when you can put 39 guys out there with rakes or whatever it might be, and taking care of the field gets done pretty quickly. They do a great job with the tarp. It's probably the best tarp team that I've ever been a part of. They just go out there, they get it done. They do it in a way that I'd never seen before, and it makes it a little bit more efficient when we have to put it on the field. So, that's greatly appreciated when it's not a lot of complaining or guys asking why we have to do this, and they just go out there, get it done, and I can trust them to know that we'll be able to play tomorrow because the field's ready to handle a little bit of snow, handle a little bit of weather, and get some baseball on it.
That's great to hear. You have Piedmont coming in for the opening series. Now, the Tornadoes are a couple weeks deep in their 2020 schedule already, even though the home opener is happening tomorrow. The first game's here at home at Brevard College. But series at William Peace and also at Guilford. The trip to William Peace included a trip to the USA Baseball National Training Complex. How cool is that as far as the student athletes getting the opportunity to play on that facility?
Yeah, it's a great complex. It's a little different to be able to take BP on one field, then go play on another one. But you know the hops are going to be true. The way the ball is going to fall in the outfield. It's not going to bounce up on you or kick left and right. But it's just taken care of so well. Having a stadium around you is something you don't get to experience a lot. Usually it's just some metal bleachers or whatever you might have. And I think that's a cool place to be down in a real stadium like major leaguers are used to. The dugouts are dugouts; they're in the ground, and all that stuff. It makes the experience of playing baseball pretty unique. And obviously, wish for better results while we were out there, but I think it was a good experience for the guys to get out there and play in a really nice environment.
Yeah, so in following that opening series at the USA Baseball National Training Complex in Cary, North Carolina, a trip to Greensboro, North Carolina this past weekend, a 3-game series versus Guilford, which included the first win of the season, a 12-11 sort of back-and-forth wild affair, 17 hits by the Tornadoes, but ended up getting that first W.
Yeah, that was exciting. I mean, I think we were right there in Game 1. Kross pitched really, really well, and it's tough to lose a game where your ace goes out there and pitches like that. But the way we were able to respond and come back and, bounce back from a loss that I think our guys all know that we shouldn't have had was great, especially when we got down a little bit early. The way we were able to battle back over and over again. And there's a lot of little things you don't see in the box score. You don't see the great defensive plays that are made when we have bases loaded and 1 out and the winning run standing there on third base. You don't see the freshman coming in with the bases loaded and having to get us out of that jam, and some of the big hits that didn't happen when JJ Wilkes comes up and blasts a ball to right field and amazing defensive play gets made, and it's having to overcome that time and time again, just adversity, and to get a win there was great for the guys, and would have been great to get another one on Sunday. It just wasn't in the cards.
And 2 individual awards handed out by the USA South Conference following that series at Guilford, as Sam Goude wins USA Baseball Rookie Pitcher of the Week, and fellow freshman Brandin Johnson wins USA South Baseball Rookie Player of the Week. So sweeping the rookie awards in the USA South Conference. Can you talk about those 2 players' performance?
I mean, Sam stood on his head for us. He went out there in tough spots and threw big pitches and gave us a chance, and 100% got backed up by Brandin, catching first a scorcher right at him with the infield in, and then having to make a diving play on another ball. Brandin had a play where he had to go to his left, pump fake to first base, and got the guy creeping off second base too. And those little things I know don't get noticed in those awards, but for us, we saw the weekend that Brandin had, and things got a little tough on him in Game 3, but he came back and hit a big hit for us in the last inning that gave us a chance to still win a ball game. And he's going to just keep getting better. He works in the cage, he works in the field, and has tried to refine his game a lot. And I know Sam's going to be able to come in and pitch in big innings for us all year and for 4 years, which is ice in his veins, and a guy that you can trust, because when you give him the ball, the moment's not too big for him, which is exciting to have guys like that in a freshman class that you can trust no matter what the score is or who's on base.
And it all leads up to this weekend's opening series versus Piedmont. 3 games. They begin Friday at 2 p.m., Saturday 1 p.m., and then Sunday at 1 p.m. Coach, as far as this matchup versus Piedmont, can you talk a little bit about sort of the mentality and the keys to getting some victories this weekend?
Yeah, Piedmont's a really good team. They won our conference last year. I think there should be a team that's ranked all the time. Their record doesn't reflect the fact that they've played some of the best teams in the country up to this point. So you can't look at them as a 3-3 team or whatever it might be. They're going to be a team that's going to come in, play the game the right way, do the little things really, really well, and take advantage of the mistakes that you make as an offense or a defense. So we're going to have to pitch really, really well, keep them off balance, hit our spots, play great defense, whether it be in the infield or outfield. You can't make those mistakes, and then keep working offensively to execute our game plan and scratch runs across and take that extra base when it's available and come through when we have runners on base.
Your first season at the helm of the Brevard College Tornadoes baseball program, and I know you've been doing quite a few things to, create a culture here as far as a winning mentality, a championship mentality for these student athletes. For those who may not have, heard you speak before and might be tuning in for the first time, can you kind of tell them sort of your overall philosophy for this Brevard College baseball program?
Sure. I think family's a big part of what we're doing. These guys learning to come together and support each other no matter what through the hard times, and celebrating the celebratables, which is big. And in a family, you might have times when your cousin's not your favorite person, or you and your brother get into a fight, and that's okay. That's part of it. But it's how you come back the next day and learn to love each other again. That's huge. Mudita is a big one. Being able to feel good for other people when they succeed, and you might not be playing right away, but somebody else gets that big hit or you get pinch hit for, and you win a ball game, and you need to be excited for that person and understand that when one guy wins, we all win. It's not about your individual success. And we've been focusing a lot since the season started on do simple better, just continuing to improve on all the little aspects of our game, doing the easy things, catching the ball, throwing the ball, hitting the ball, which isn't necessarily easy, but do those little things to the best of our ability, and that's how we're going to get to wins and be really successful and not try to make the game bigger than it actually is. And, we want to win all the time. Sunday was a tough loss, and I told them, like, there's no moral victories anymore. We can't just sit there and be like, hey, we were close, guys. We always want to strive to be better and to win every single inning, every pitch, every game that we possibly can.
Very good. Well, last thing, Coach, our next guests are your coaching staff, Rob Julian and also Steve Hucke.
Sure.
And I know these two, bring a bunch of experience, but also, some sort of, niches and nuances that they're especially strong at. Can you kind of describe these two and what a student athlete who comes here to Brevard College will benefit from, being under the tutelage of these two coaches as well?
Coach Julian, I coached him when he was a senior, and he's the ultimate competitor. He's a guy that doesn't want to lose at anything, whether it be a baseball game, a card game, tic-tac-toe. It doesn't matter. He's going to get after it, and he's not going to talk to you if he loses, which sometimes happens with us, and that's okay. And these guys need to see what that kind of fire and that competition looks like. He's come from a good coaching background where he's worked with some really, really good players in another really good program in Mercyhurst up in Erie, Pennsylvania, and it brings with them some great strength and conditioning experience, and I think our guys have seen that pay off for them. They're getting bigger, they're getting stronger. Some of our freshmen are putting on 15, 20 pounds, and you can see that when they go from singles guys to doubles guys, and we're adding velo on the pitching side of things. And for a pitching coach to be a fiery, competitive guy is exactly what you need. You need your pitchers to go out there and be mentally tough and want to win and want to be the guy, whatever that score is, and he's pushing that on them at all times to be mentally tough and to be the best. And then Coach Hucke's, been around baseball a long time, been a head coach. He works with our hitters really, really well and continues to help them tweak their swings, things that, as a pitching guy, it's not my niche necessarily. So, when I have him to be there to make a little mechanical tweak with a guy that's struggling, that's really, really helpful. And I know that, when I have administrative things to do and he's running our hitting groups, that they're in good hands. And, it's just really great as a first-year head coach to have a guy to bounce a question off of that, making sure our ground rules are all set for the field and help with that decision-making process. It's good to have my voice and those guys' two voices when we're making a lineup, making pitching decisions, and we work really well together in our personalities.
Very good. Well, Coach, good luck this weekend in the season opening series, the Gil Cohen Memorial Series, in tribute of Gil Cohen Sr. right here at Gil Cohen Field on the campus of Brevard College. Good luck this weekend, Coach. We'll see you here
Thanks
at the
so
yard.
much. Appreciate you doing it.
All right, that was head coach for Brevard College baseball, Mike Victory, as we're joined now by Coach Victory's staff, assistant coaches Rob Julian and Steve Hucke, as they make their way to our broadcast location here at the press box at Gil Cohen Field on the eve of opening day. Coach Hucke, Coach Julian, thanks for joining the program. Great to have you guys here.
Thanks for having us.
Pleasure to be here.
Well, I want to start with you, Coach Hucke, and before we get into your background and kind of educating folks a little bit about, where you've come from as far as your baseball expertise, I'd imagine you're familiar with these snow situations coming from Minnesota. We're here live at Gil Cohen Field on the eve of opening weekend, and the snow's coming down and starting to stick now, on the field out there. Can you kind of tell, maybe ease everybody around here in Western North Carolina that this isn't a big deal? We'll get these games in one way or the other.
Oh yeah, we're going to get them in, and we're going to work hard. I sent a text out to some of my coaching buddies back up, and I said, looks like a late April, early May Minnesota spring right now. So. And they laughed, said it was about time I had to suffer what they're going through. It's -12 up there, though.
Wow.
Yeah.
And Coach Julian, played and coached up in Pennsylvania, so you're no stranger to these colder temperatures as well.
Yeah, I mean, Coach brought the snow with him. But it's an argument for another day.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, we're going to do everything that we can to make sure this is in tip-top shape for the weekend, and I have full confidence that we'll make that happen.
Well, Coach Hucke, we're blessed to have you here at Brevard College, a wealth of experience. If folks go to bctornadoes.com and check out Coach Hucke's biography, you can see his resume, 17 successful years as the head baseball coach at Rochester Community and Technical College in Rochester, Minnesota, where he had a tremendous record, 339 wins. But in the here and now, you're here at Brevard College. Can you tell a little bit about your transition here to Western North Carolina and, how much you're enjoying this new role here at Brevard College?
Yeah, it's been an easy transition. I didn't know how easy it would be after being the head coach for many years and stepping back into that assistant role again. But like Mike mentioned earlier about the administrative part of it, I'm not missing that right now. So it's nice to be able to come here and sit there and go, okay, what are we going to do for hitting drills today? And what am I going to do today to help on some of the hitters? And it's kind of nice. But it's also nice to kind of be able to sit down and talk with these guys and hear their experiences. And then also them asking questions about, from a head coaching standpoint, what do I think about this, what do I think about that. So hopefully I'm able to give some good advice in regards to that. I do miss a little bit at times being the guy in charge, but I'm kind of enjoying this role right now. I go home and sleep a little better at night now and not have to worry about everything like he's worrying about right now with the snow. So I'll just do what he tells me to do tomorrow. If I need to shovel, I'll shovel. If I need to just, come in and get hitting drills going, I'll get hitting drills going. So whatever it is, but it's been a smooth transition.
Very good. And Coach Julian, Coach Victory touched on this a little bit, but if you can sort of explain to our viewers and listeners sort of how the responsibilities are broken down between your coaching staff. A lot of folks will be seeing this year's edition for the first time this weekend versus Piedmont, and from everything from who's handling first base and third base to the bullpen. Can you kind of explain how you guys have things organized?
Yeah. Coach and I both having pitching backgrounds helps me tremendously. If I have any questions or anything on what we need to do to make sure our guys are ready, I can always bounce them off him, and that's been a tremendous help. But for the most part, I'll handle the pitching staff and kind of what we do, making sure the guys are ready out there in the bullpen, and it's a little bit longer of a trip than I'm used to. But making sure that they're ready to go and that they're out there prepared. Whenever we need to make a change, those guys are ready to go in and get the job done. And then Coach, like he was saying, does a tremendous job with our hitters, keeping them ready and talking about, approaches and things like that, and making sure that they're ready to go as well.
And Coach Hucke, I know recruiting is a year-round proposition, especially here on the Division III level. Now that you've been here at Brevard College for a little bit and kind of, seen what the baseball culture is all about and also what the area is about and also the makeup of the student athlete and the kind of student athlete who excels here, what are your takeaways as far as who is a good fit for Brevard College baseball?
Well, I kind of looked at it because I've had players from the community college level go to Division III, Division II, Division I, NAIA, and what I like to see and what I've noticed around here is the kids have good head on their shoulders in regards to what they need to get done in the classroom. Also, they come here and they're more analytical about things in regards to tweaking their swings, understanding things. But I also see someone that has good family values. I like to see them with their parents, how they interact with their parents. We've had some really good kids come on campus that have interacted very well with their parents and sits well with our staff. And looking for kids with just good character kids, and I think that's something that you really have to go out and look for. And I think there's more kids out there. I don't think we give them as much credit as we should. I think there's more kids out there that are deserving a shot to go and play, no matter what level it is. And there's also some kids who maybe could play at a higher level, but maybe a better fit from a standpoint of what they believe in and what they want to get accomplished in their life. And maybe a Division III is a better fit for them than maybe going to a Division II or Division I, and maybe not playing all 4 years, maybe playing 2 or 3 years, or maybe becoming such a business for them, such a job for them, they don't enjoy it anymore. So, it's been seeing that from the community college level. There's some kids at the community college level will fit in very, very well here at Division III.
And Coach Julian, whenever we talk recruiting, it's sort of a two-sided coin. The student athlete needs to be a fit for Brevard College, but also Brevard College needs to be an attractive destination for that student athlete. And I think Coach Hucke did a nice job kind of describing, the type of student athlete who might fit here. But can you tell prospective student athletes and those who might be on the fence why Brevard College baseball is a good move for them?
Yeah, whenever you're going to the Division III level, you always have to take in the other side of the coin. You have athletics and you have academics, and I think you always got to take in that academic side as well. Baseball's not going to go on forever, unfortunately. And we have some really, really good programs here. You'll talk to a couple of our student athletes in a little bit here, and they might be able to elaborate on more of those programs a little bit. But we have some really good programs, some really good professors, some really good opportunities for internships, things like that, academically. And then obviously on the athletic side, we're trying to change some things around here. Coach mentioned, our core values and everything that we're about, starting to build that culture and getting high character guys that want to win and win championships, quite frankly, because that's kind of where we see this thing going. But yeah, great school academically and a ton of opportunities here, both on that side as well as the baseball side as well.
Before I let you go, I want to bring it back to this year's squad and, starting up with this opening day series this weekend versus Piedmont. 2 weekend series in the books, and Coach Hucke, we'll start with you. What were the good things you saw out of this group these first 2 weekends?
Well, based from the first weekend to the second weekend, I thought our situational hitting was a little bit better. Second weekend, I thought that we took advantage of hitters' counts a little bit more, and I think we're going to keep progressing in that area. Some things we got to improve on is getting hits with guys in scoring position. We put up quite a few hits last weekend, which was encouraging. We put the bat on the ball a little better. Our strikeouts are a little bit down, so I'm hoping that we can continue in that realm and get that clutch hit when we need it with guys in scoring position, because we got some pitchers who are working very, very hard on the mound. We got to give them some sticks to back it up a little bit.
And same question for you, Coach, but from the pitching perspective.
Yeah, we kind of talked about it a little bit on Monday. Going from the first week to this past week, I was happy to see the guys compete, some more than they did that first weekend. We kind of talked about it where the first weekend they were okay with, just kind of being okay. And then this past weekend they went out, they competed their butt offs, and they gave us a chance to win in 3 games. And that's kind of all you can ask for as a pitching coach. Sometimes things aren't going to go your way, and sometimes they're not going to, blue pits are going to fall, and sort of some things are going to happen. But as long as we go out there and compete and do our job and keep us in a ball game, I'll be happy with those guys any day of the week.
Very good. I will let you get back to your preparation for this weekend. Coach Hucke, Coach Julian, thanks for joining the program this afternoon. We'll see you this weekend at the opening series.
All right, thank
Absolutely.
you.
Always a pleasure, Phil.
All right. That were assistant coaches Rob Julian and Steve Hucke joining the program here. This special edition of Tornado Talk here at Brevard College, live on location from the press box here at Gil Cohen Field. As our next 2 guests and our first 2 student athletes of the program make their way to the broadcast location, joined now by Bryce Foster and Jakob Dennis. Gentlemen, thanks for joining the show.
Pleasure to be here.
Glad to be here.
Well, great to have you guys on. For those who may not know these 2, Bryce Foster wears the jersey number 29, senior right-handed pitcher right here from Brevard, North Carolina, Brevard High School. And then Jakob Dennis, number 6, a junior right-handed pitcher from Raleigh, North Carolina, Sanderson High School. Same question I had for the last coaches who were just on the show. As far as how you guys feel, obviously not the wins and loss record that you wanted after 2 weekends, but as far as like the encouraging things, the good things that you guys felt, as far as the team goes and the pitching staff goes.
Well, this year I feel it's a lot better connected group of guys. These guys, I can know they'll have my back, and I know that the starters that I come in behind usually, they'll have my back. They'll throw their butts off, and we'll both come in with whatever situation they give us and do our best for them.
Yeah, to go on that, I think this team this year we're more of a brotherhood than just teammates. Everybody's kind of got everybody's backs. Coach Julian and Coach Victor have done a great job with the pitching staff, and Coach Hucke. We've seen tremendous increases in how guys are swinging at the ball.
Now, I do want folks to get to know you all a little bit, and we'll start with kind of your backgrounds, how you made your way here to Brevard College, and when you started playing baseball and that kind of thing. Bryce, we'll start with you right here from Brevard, North Carolina.
Yes, sir.
Can you talk about your baseball background and ultimately ending up here at Brevard College?
Well, I mean, ever since I could remember, I grew up around baseball. My dad played professionally, so it's kind of my family that followed him around everywhere he went. So ever since growing up and around stadiums and all the players and everything, it's kind of like a thing that was driven in my head. I mean, I love the game anyway. It wasn't something that was forced on me. I mean, I just grew up naturally playing it, and then ended up going to high school here at Brevard, following my grandparents here, and kind of just fell in love with Brevard itself and just ended up coming here.
For me, in high school, I was a dual sport athlete. I played football and baseball. Coming out of that, I wanted to play both sports, and I had offers for D3, for football and baseball. But ultimately, I decided baseball was the direction I wanted to go in, and Brevard presented the best opportunity for what I want to do after baseball is over. And yeah, I love it here.
Now, you mentioned plans for after baseball is over. Bryce, you're a criminal justice major. Can you shed some light on, sort of what you have perhaps on the horizon already?
Well, I just finished up the police academy last semester through Blue Ridge. So after this, I'm trying to get on with the local sheriff's department here for a few years and then transfer out federal somewhere.
Fantastic. Congratulations on that, by the way, Bryce. And Jakob, a health science studies major. Have you thought about career-wise where that's going to lead you?
Yeah, I've always wanted to go into dental work, so I've been doing a lot of internships and job shadowing to move forward and get into dental school. So that's the process I'm going through right now. This summer I'll be taking the dental admissions test and completing my final internship for the health science studies program, and then senior year comes around and I'll be applying to dental school.
Very nice. Well, both of you have explained very well sort of the the academic benefits of coming here to Brevard College. If someone's listening, say Bryce, a local pitcher over at Brevard High School, or for Jakob, somebody back in the Raleigh-Durham area who's, thinking about Brevard College. Now that you guys have been here for a little while, can you help the coaches, explain to these student athletes why it makes sense to join the Brevard College baseball program?
I mean, honestly, you don't get the environment you get at other schools here. It's more of a academic-driven school, but at the same time, it's a brotherhood here. Whenever you join in, you're automatically accepted by everyone here. I mean, we do group trips all the time, hang out all the time. I mean, most nights we're together, and other nights we're always talking with each other. So it's very different than other schools where it's more separated.
Yeah, I agree totally with Bryce. And like on the school front, I have honestly no problems with my class schedule and playing baseball. It all pretty much flows together. With being a science major, I've got a lot of labs, and sometimes people think that might get in the way of things, but it doesn't at all. And this is the perfect place.
Yeah, and a lot of that goes hand in hand with sort of the Division III model as well. Appreciate you guys explaining it that way. Now let's talk a little baseball. Favorite player growing up?
Favorite player growing up probably would have been probably Beltre, Adrian Beltre. Played with the Dodgers for a while, mostly because when him and my dad both got drafted within the same year, and our families were always hanging together, so it's kind of just growing up with a hero right in front of you too.
And is there somebody from the pitching side who you sort of emulated?
Pitching side, more. I kind of grew up not really watching pitching side when I was younger, but when I grew up more of Kershaw, whenever he started getting big, is when I started hitting me more.
Same question for you, Jakob.
Oh yeah, I'm a huge Bryce Harper guy. I love Bryce Harper. I love the way he carries himself, and I'm a huge Phillies fan, so I'm happy that he's on the Phillies now. Pitching wise, growing up, I was always a two-way guy, so I was focused a lot on position players. So there wasn't really a pitcher that really stood out to me. I was just always Bryce Harper all the way.
Well, this weekend, really get into things here at Gilcohen Field, the season opening series at home. You guys have been around a little ways, first 2 weeks on the road, but finally here at home. How critical or how nice is it to play at home versus being on the road and having that home field advantage?
It's nice being at home because you ain't got to worry about what time you're going to have to go to sleep and at night, wake up, when to wake up, what all could go and happen during the trip there, but also like the unknowns, the factors of the field that they're going to be playing on. Compared to here, you control basically how the field's set up, and as much work as you put into it, how nice it'll turn out.
Yeah, for pitching, a lot of it's about feel, And, going into those away games, you're not sure what their mound's going to be like or what their bullpen's going to be like. Whereas here, we practice on this every day. We do all of our bullpens on these bullpens. And so it's just kind of like every day, just go out there and do our job.
Very good. Well, Bryce Foster, Jakob Dennis, great job on the show this afternoon. Good luck this weekend. We're excited to see you guys in action right here at Gil Cohen Field. And, congratulations also on what you guys are doing off the field. Really excited to hear all that. And, Bryce, you're one of the seniors on the team, so we'll be – before you know it, we'll be celebrating that senior day. So I hope you can live in the moment quite a bit, throughout this season as well and take all this in. Congratulations on that in advance.
Thank you very much.
All right. Bryce Foster and Jakob Dennis. Great to have those two kick off the student-athlete portion of this special edition of Tornado Talk. Live on location here at the press box of Gil Cohen Field. As we look outside to the field itself, and the snow continues to fall here in Brevard, North Carolina. Worked well selfishly for the, this talk show. I know you guys would love to be out there getting some reps in. As we're joined now by Sam Goude and Brandin Johnson. Gentlemen, thanks for joining the program.
Thanks for having us.
Well, it's apropos that I have you two join us this afternoon, since you two both won some awards this past week. USA South Conference Rookie Pitcher of the Week, USA South Conference Rookie of the Week, Sam Goude and Brandin Johnson. Congratulations on that.
Yeah, think about that.
Can you reflect back on how you first heard about that award and, how that kind of went down?
I wasn't, super shocked, but at the same time, I don't want that to get in my head. Gotta, control my ego and just focus on this next series upcoming. So,
I was just sitting there in my lobby, and one of my parents sent me a little thing, like a little link. Hey, you're a Rookie of the Week. And, first thought in my mind is, I was like, I didn't really believe it at first. And then a couple of my teammates started congratulating me. And, in my mind, I was thinking, okay, we're working with it. And then I started remembering you got to stay humble. So, saying I'm just looking forward towards the next ABs, next fielding chances. So.
Yeah, very good. Well, as much as, I love to celebrate these things and, we love to get it all viral on social media. Appreciate you guys mentioned the word humble and humility as the kind of the key moving forward. Now, Sam, let's start with you. Your collegiate debut these last couple weeks, can you talk about that transition, high school baseball to college baseball, and what that was like for you?
A whole different level of adrenaline. It was just, I got on the mound and I couldn't believe I was in the moment, and then just the adrenaline took over, and thankfully it went well. So.
And same question for you, Brandin, as far as that, difference in intensity, the stage, all those things, high school versus college ball.
I'd have to say the adrenaline too. My first AB, I was so juice full of adrenaline, swinging out of my shoes. And then as I started getting more ABs and more experience, I was kind of cooler, started swinging less hard.
Now, Sam, out of Georgetown, South Carolina, can you talk a little bit about your upbringing? When did you start playing baseball, and how did it evolve into, really becoming a serious thing for you and ultimately a college baseball player?
I've always loved it ever since. I don't even remember when I picked up the bat first time. That's when the love started. Never dropped it.
And same question for you, Brandin, out of Macon, Georgia, Jones County High School. Can you remember that first day where you said, hey, I'm ready to play baseball?
Maybe when I was 4 or 5, just out in the yard throwing the ball with my dad. And then just over the years, it was just nonstop work at it. Me and my dad out there almost every day swinging, throwing, taking ground balls. And it just made my game a whole lot better as I grew older.
Now, I asked the last guys, we talked a little bit of, MLB with them. Same questions for you two. First, Sam, favorite player growing up?
I always grew up watching Chipper Jones, and I overheard them talking about favorite pitcher too. I'd probably say Greg Maddux.
Braves. Is there
Braves fan,
sort of a trend here, a pattern here?
I love the Braves. I've always been a Braves fan.
And Brandin, I'm guessing you're from Braves country as well. Are you a Braves fan as well?
Not as much. My favorite player growing up was Manny Ramirez for the Red Sox. I just love the energy he brought to the field, and just how he was defense, offense. He ran the base as well.
And as far as favorite team?
I'd have to say the Red Sox.
Very good. So we've got kind of an NL, AL deal going on here. Now, as far as your actual craft on the playing field, and Sam, we'll start with you. You know, can you kind of take folks through your routine? You know, you're called out of the bullpen. You're asked to, take care of business for an inning or two. Can you kind of talk about from start to finish what that's like for you mentally?
Well, I just want to shout out to my defense. Like, I love pitching with them behind me. So, I mean, I feel like I can pound the zone more, especially here in college. I know they can make plays behind me. And, I mean, that's what I look to do when I go out on the mound, just pound the zone, no freebies.
And, Brandin, you've been playing a lot of third base. Can you talk a little bit about that, the hot corner? And, I got some reports that, it was a hot corner a couple of plays, this past weekend at Guilford, and you were able to get it done. Can you talk about that position defensively and specific and what makes a great third baseman?
At third base, I'd say you have to be able to have quick hands and be able to react to the ball pretty quick. Most of the time, if you just knock it down or get a glove on it, you have enough time to make a strong throw over there. So to be able to be quick on your feet and kind of just stay in control when you glove it or knock it down, I'd say that's sort of the main two.
Very good. Well, gentlemen, great job on the show this afternoon. We look forward to seeing you in action. Your home debut this weekend for the Tornadoes right here at Gil Cohen Field, and hopefully we'll come away with some W's this weekend. I know that's the end goal for all you guys. Great job on the show, Sam Goude and Brandin Johnson.
Thank you.
Thanks for joining the program.
Thank you for having us.
All right, that's two of those USA South Rookie of the Week recipients, Sam Goude and Brandin Johnson. Great to have those two on the program. As this special edition of Tornado Talk moves on, joined now by Brett Burchett and Christian Ezzell. Gentlemen, thanks for joining the show.
How you doing? Thank you for having us.
Well, it's great to have you two on the program this afternoon, and I feel like I'm talking to a couple veterans here. Brett, you're in your second season here. Christian,
Yes,
you're third, but you guys are settled in here as opposed to my last two guys who are brand new. Can you talk about that as far as and Brett, we'll start with you. You had your freshman year last year. Now you're a sophomore.
Yes,
that
sir.
difference, in terms of now being a leader, being a mentor to the younger players and that kind of thing, and sort of your personal journey, freshman versus sophomore year.
Yes, sir. I think it really just helps having a little bit of experience under your belt and getting a feel for how the game is played at this level, and being able to pass that information on to some of the guys that are coming up now is really helpful to them, and it's nice to be able to help those guys out.
And Christian, similar question for you as far as as you progress through your college career, how things evolve.
I think I agree with Brett. It's all about, helping the younger guys out. Being a little older, you can help them through things when it comes to packing for games, getting them ready for, what college is going to really be like, and, handling the academic and athletic aspect of college.
Very good. And Christian, catcher and outfielder, can you talk a little bit about your career in both those positions?
Yeah, so I came in freshman year, and I was mainly catching, and then, the idea came up, hey, let's try you in right field. So I played a little bit of right, and then sophomore year started catching again, then transitioned to outfield, and, kind of just stuck with it going into this year as well, catching and outfield. So it's been interesting, but I like both.
And Brett, you're listed as a catcher. Has that been your position most of your career?
Yes, sir. I've caught since I was probably 7, 8 years old, and that's pretty much the only place I've ever been on the field.
Now, off the field, Christian, a business major. Have you thought ahead a little bit what you might want to do with that degree ultimately?
I think what kind of intrigues me most is probably going into the field of marketing. I think that's something that out of the business aspect, I enjoy the most. So I think, after college, going and get my my major or my master's in business, I'm gonna get a concentration in marketing with that.
Very nice. And Brett, a criminal justice major. Same
Yes,
question
sir.
for you. Have you thought ahead where that might lead you?
Yes, sir. I'd like to go into law enforcement after getting out of college.
Very good. Now, can we talk on the field a little bit? 2 weekends in the books already. Trips to William Peace in Guilford before this home opening series. As far as the things you guys were encouraged about, these first 2 weekends, and again, you guys both, returners from last year's club. What
Yes,
were the
sir.
things you saw as positives moving into this third weekend of the season?
Well, I definitely saw over the from the first to the second week, we had a lot of younger guys step up and really hit their spots and command the ball on the mound, and it was good to see that rebound after a few not so great performances at William and Peace, to see those guys step up and really throw the ball well this past weekend.
I think it was just the fight that we had. We would get behind early in the game, but we would come back. We would tackle on runs. We had timely hits. The pitchers did an amazing job this weekend coming in. Some guys had great bounce back weekends, and I mean that's all you can ask for.
And heading into this weekend, back at home here at Gil
Yes, sir.
Cohen Field, how good does that feel to finally get to play in front of the home crowd?
Oh, it's great. It's great to finally get back on the home turf and get back playing here at Gil Cohen.
Yeah, playing college baseball is fun, but there's nothing like playing at home when you have your friends, your families. Just the atmosphere at home is a different feeling.
Very nice. Well, would like viewers to get to know you all a little more in your journey. Christian, we'll start with you. Monroe, North Carolina, Piedmont High School. Can you kind of talk about your baseball background as far as when you got started, but also how you ultimately found your way here to Brevard College?
Yeah, so I started playing baseball right off the bat. My dad grew up playing baseball, so I started t-ball when I was 3 years old. Kind of stuck with it. I played football for a year, but I kind of knew from an early age that baseball was the route I was going to take. But in high school, I committed here my senior year, and I love it here. So.
And same question for you, Brett, out of Mooresville, North Carolina, Mooresville High School outside of Charlotte.
Yes, sir.
Can you kind of talk about your progression, when you first started playing baseball and then ultimately becoming a college student athlete?
Yes, sir. It's a very similar story to Christian. I started playing at a very young age and started catching 7, 8, around that age, and continued playing ball, travel ball, middle school ball, high school ball all the way through, and ended up finding Brevard through a camp and came on one visit and fell in love with the campus, and here we are.
Very good. Well, I've been asking this to every guest, as far as the players go. It's kind of a fun one. Christian, we'll start with you. Favorite Major League Baseball player all time?
I think, growing up, I really idolized Josh Hamilton, and watching him, that's what kind of gave me my love for the Texas Rangers. So I've been a Texas Rangers fan my whole life.
And Brett, same question for you.
I grew up watching Brian McCann a lot and how he caught for the Braves, and that made me a Braves fan. So that's what I've always been.
Very nice. Well, gentlemen, we look forward to seeing you in action this weekend. Piedmont coming into town. The snow's continuing to fall, but I'm confident we're going to get this thing in. I know you guys, and by the way, I'd like to hear from you all from the player's perspective. I asked the coach this, but you guys have been preparing for potential weather, the days leading up
Yes,
to
sir.
this, snowstorm. Can you kind of talk about what you guys did?
We've done a lot of work over the last couple of days. Yesterday in particular, we caught out here and we really worked on our edges and got out here, and after practice we put turfus over the whole field or just a base layer to kind of prepare for all the weather coming in. And we just hope that the field's holding as well as it can with the tarp on, and we'll get it off and ready to play tomorrow.
Christian, I see you nodding your head. Anything to add to that?
Yeah, so, with Brevard being in a temperate rainforest, field work's something that, we do out here, and we always get the field prepared so it could rain the night before. We'll get out here, get it ready to go for game day the next day.
Very good. Brett Burchett, Christian Ezzell, 2 of these student athletes you have the chance to see this weekend versus Piedmont and all season long for Brevard College baseball. Thanks for joining the program, gentlemen. Great job today. We'll see you this weekend.
All right,
Thank
you for having us.
All right, that was Brett Burchett and Christian Ezzell, 2 more of those Tornado student athletes who will be in action this weekend right here at Gil Cohen Field as the Tornadoes face off against Piedmont in the home opening series. And this special edition of Tornado Talk rolls on as we're joined now by Donny Carsillo and Johnny Flynn. Gentlemen, thanks for joining the program.
Thanks
No
for having
problem.
us.
Well, 2 seniors, so it's great to have you guys on the show, and I think you guys can kind of give some big picture perspective. You guys have been around for a while here, senior year, a new era with Coach Mike Victory and his coaching staff in place. Can you talk about this season, how it's going so far, and also, sort of the culture and the mentality that you all are trying to bring?
I know I've only been here this will be my second year here, but I think Coach Vic and Coach Julian, they bring a good mindset here, and they actually bring us to work harder and stuff like that, and teach us stuff to put into the games, and it's on us to bring that out there when we play on the field.
Yeah, I don't have much to add to that.
Very good. Well, Donny out of Waxhaw, North Carolina, Carmel Christian School.
Mm-hmm.
Can you talk about, your upbringing as far as the game of baseball? If you can think back to, when it first sort of clicked and you said, hey, this is what I want to do for a long time?
Probably middle school is when I really got into it, but I've been playing since I can remember. But middle school is when it really started getting fun for me, I think, because I started getting, good at it. But, yeah.
And Johnny, same question for you.
I started probably when I was 8. I've been playing the outfield my whole life, and that was it. And I started getting more serious into it when I got into high school and started looking at other places to go. And that's when my senior year, I got in the JUCO at Danville Community College and played there for 2 years and transferred here.
Yeah, Johnny out of Hillsborough, North Carolina, Orange High School. Now, you both are listed as outfielders, so you patrol, that large span of grass out there in the outfield. Can you talk about the craft of being an outfielder? What makes a good outfielder defensively?
Fast.
I'd say fast, and not only fast, but you have to be able to, read a ball off the bat and have a route to get there. It's not all about being that fast. If you can make good routes off the bat, you can catch pretty much anything. So you can definitely be an outfielder.
Now, you mentioned the speed and, the act of fielding the ball. Can you talk about throwing the ball from the outfield? Perhaps getting some of those outfield assists. What's the key to making that happen successfully?
Just making good throws to your cut and getting the ball in quick, and then putting it on the next guy to make another throw. So,
yeah, finding that cutoff man right where he needs to be. Well, I've been asking all the student athletes the following. Do you have a favorite player, perhaps when you were growing up, someone you may emulate your game after? Donny, we'll start with you.
My favorite player growing up is Bernie Williams. I don't know if anyone out there knows who he is, but he was on the Yankees back when I was younger. He played outfield. I thought he was a good player.
Well, I know who he is,
Yeah.
so at least one of us does.
Yeah.
Johnny?
For me, it'd be Mike Trout. He's a good center fielder, and I try to play my game after him. So.
And in terms of teams, you mentioned, Donny, the Yankees. Are you a lifelong Yankee fan?
Yes, sir. I'm from up north originally, so that's always been a team that my family followed, and that's ultimately who I like watching too. But I haven't been watching too much baseball recently. I'm kind of just playing it. But right now, they're still my favorite team.
And a favorite team for you, Johnny?
My favorite team now used to be the New York Yankees also, but recently my friend got drafted by the Atlanta Braves when I was in high school, so I'm rooting for them now.
Yeah, having that personal connection
Yeah.
there, can sometimes make all the difference. Well, this weekend, a 3-game series against a formidable Piedmont club. I know coaches have been talking to you guys as far as sort of the keys, and, mentality-wise, and also what you guys need to do, to get a couple W's this weekend. Can you talk, shed some light on that as far as what needs to happen this weekend to get the W?
They're a good team, so we can't make stupid mistakes. Like mental mistakes can't happen.
Gotta do, just do like the little things good, and just play solid baseball.
Yeah, I mean, we've been preparing since early as the fall, so I think we're ready, no matter if we haven't been practicing this week that much because of the rain and the snow. But, I mean, we've all been playing ball since we were 8 years old, so, you know, you just got to make the simple plays like we've been making.
Well, would like to inform folks what you guys do in the classroom as well. Donny, a mathematics major. Have you thought what you want to do ultimately with that degree?
I do not. I'm still trying to figure out what I want to do, but I also have a business minor to go with it, so it's pretty good together. And I'm thinking towards something like maybe accounting, banking, something towards along those lines. I would like to be a teacher, but it wouldn't be in North Carolina because you don't get paid good at all in North Carolina. So I would have to go up north.
Well, I'll tell you, Donny, I've confronted and talked with a lot of student athletes throughout my career at a lot of different places, and I haven't met many mathematics majors. So I tip my hat to you. Is it just something you've been good at your whole life?
Yeah, I would say so.
Something that just came
yeah,
easy.
Yeah.
Very good. And Johnny, an environmental studies major. Have you thought ahead, you know, what you may want to do career-wise?
Yeah, I want to be a wildlife biologist. It's something that I've been into my whole life. Grew up hunting, fishing, and I couldn't see myself doing anything else rather than working with wildlife and doing wildlife management. So.
And a great part of the country right here to be in for all that.
Yes, sir.
Have you had the chance to explore around here, Pisgah National Forest, DuPont State Forest?
Yeah, I've taken trips up there and done some hiking and stuff. But my main goal is to go back home, get maybe a job with the Wildlife Commission and stuff, and we'll see where that goes.
Very good. Donny Carsillo, Johnny Flynn, two of those student athletes you'll be able to see here this weekend versus Piedmont in the home opening series. Gentlemen, thanks for joining the program. Good luck this weekend.
Thank you.
All right, that was Donny Carsillo and Johnny Flynn, two senior outfielders for the Tornadoes. As this special edition of Tornado Talk on the eve of opening day at Gil Cohen Field rolls on, as we're joined now by Jason Jucker and Ryan Roon. Gentlemen, thanks for joining the show.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Jason Jucker, sophomore shortstop. Ryan Roon, senior infielder. Gentlemen, 2 weekends in the books. Home opening series coming this weekend. Can you talk a little bit about, you know, the positives, those first 2 weekends, this year's club kind of getting off and running?
Yeah, so we've been working really hard with everybody. The coaches have really prepared us. Coach Hucke, Coach Julian, Coach Vic, working hard in the cage, working good in the bullpen. And, you know, we're really prepared for this weekend. In the weekends past, and I think that a lot of people stepped up when we needed to, and we got that first win.
Yeah, I think we learned a lot about ourselves the past 2 weekends. Getting out there and putting what we've been working towards all fall and, you know, beginning of the spring, kind of felt good to get out there and get that going.
And if we can think back to that opening weekend, USA Baseball Training Complex, you know, when I read that on the team schedule, you know, I can't help but say, like, wow, what a cool opportunity. Can you talk a little bit about that? You know, and I believe you guys were there last year as well, so it's your second time around going to that world-class facility. But just how cool that is to, as a student athlete, to get to experience that.
Yeah, I mean, that's where the USA Baseball team trains, and to be able to play there, really good facility, you know, true hops, infield and outfield, immaculate conditions to play in. You know, it's almost like a professional complex. So it was really good to play there.
Yeah, I've played there 3 seasons now. It's always fun going down there. The bus ride's fun with the guys, and then just getting to play on a smooth surface. Oh, it's awesome, especially being an infielder.
Definitely.
Very nice. And Ryan, a senior business major out of Dallas, Georgia. Now it's your senior year, you know, and there's a strong senior class this season. You know, have you guys kind of talked about amongst yourselves that, hey, it's showtime. You know, this
Absolutely.
is it. You know, it's time to get this done.
Yeah, it's kind of our last push this year, and we, you know, kind of got screwed out of the USA South. They didn't let us compete this year, but we've got the ECAC to look forward to, and we're really excited to fight for that.
And Jason, these seniors, are they people you kind of, lean on for some leadership and mentorship and that kind of thing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they've been here for 4 years, and this is my second year here, so all the knowledge they've gained for the last 4 years, I go to them about, especially Ryan being an infielder. I go to him and ask him questions about stuff that he's learned over the years, and it's helped everybody else a lot.
Now, Jason, out of Altamont Springs, Florida, and Central Florida, and from Lake Brantley High School. Before we get into your background, as a Floridian who's now here in your second season at Brevard College, what would your message be to, someone back home in Central Florida who might be thinking about Brevard College and who might be like, wait a second, it's a lot different than Florida. Now that you've been here, why does it make sense for a Florida kid to actually come here?
Right, so growing up in Florida, everybody wants to play at the big D1 Florida schools, the JUCO schools down there. There's not many D3 schools down there, and people don't really look to go to those schools down there because they want to be in Florida still. And when I was going through the recruitment trail, I found Brevard, and it opened my eyes to, hey, not playing in Florida might be a good thing. So I came up here and gave it a shot, and it's worked out for me.
And Ryan, a little closer to home, Dallas, Georgia, but, a different state than what we're in here in North Carolina. Can you kind of talk about that? And same question, for somebody back home who might be considering Brevard, why does it make sense for them to come here?
Well, I'm from kind of a smaller town, and Brevard was, like my hometown, small downtown area, shops right on the main street. Only difference was it doesn't snow where I'm from. So that was a big difference first couple years I was here. But, it's a great community, great people.
And it doesn't snow often here, but it happens to be snowing today on the eve of the home opener. Now, you both are business majors. Can you tell folks a little bit about, perhaps your future plans and what you hope to do with that degree?
Yeah, so I'm wanting to get into coaching after school. Both my parents were coaches, and my grandfather was the head basketball coach at the University of Cincinnati. He won 2 Final Fours there, so coaching's in my family, and I want to keep that going.
I'm looking to go home this summer and get like a marketing job or management.
Very good. We talked a little bit about leadership, and Ryan as a senior, but Jason as, returning sophomore, and we had a couple of freshmen on the show earlier who, recently won these USA South Rookie of the Week awards. What do you guys see yourselves as far as your responsibility towards those freshmen and making sure that they, find their way around here?
Right, so coming from high school, it's a big transition going into college. You got to be more independent. The freshmen are looking up to us to see how we operate and how they can be successful here because it's a huge transition. And if we put on, a good foundation for them, they'll be fine.
Yeah, I think the big thing this year was just to kind of tell them to keep it loose. Some of them come in, they're like really tight, they're nervous. The big thing is just, stay loose, play your game, and everything will work out. And I think Brandin is a really good example of that. He had a great weekend this weekend.
I've been talking to some of the guys sort of about their craft at their individual positions, but I like to take it a different direction with you all because we haven't talked much hitting on the program this afternoon. Can you talk about hitting? What makes a great hitter?
Yeah, like Coach Hucke preaches, let the ball travel, hit the ball right field. If you go up there and you try to, muscle up and pull these pitches, and these guys are throwing 90+, it's pretty impossible to hit those pitches unless you get lucky. So you got to see the ball and let it travel. And Coach Hucke and Coach Victory preach that in the cage all the time during batting practice. You got to be able to see the ball hit the right field. That's where we have most of our success when we hit the ball to right field.
Yeah, just again, stay loose, have a good approach up there. Don't let the pitcher intimidate you. You got to know that you're going to beat him before he beats you.
And Jason mentioned Coach Hucke, and this coach has got a wealth of experience. He's been around a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Can you talk a little bit further, for folks who might not know Coach Hucke and what it's been like from your, perspective, having a coach with that much experience help you along?
Yeah, Coach Hucke's great to have on the program. He's a real fiery guy. We have hitting groups 4 days a week, and he's got a million drills that we do down in the cages. And if something's not going right, he corrects it right away, and he's really positive with it. He doesn't get you down. He builds you up and makes sure that you're a good hitter.
Yeah, he brings a great energy that this program needed, and a lot of knowledge, like you said, and you can see the improvements already. and I'm really excited to see how the season goes.
Yeah, as we all are. Last thing, we've been having fun with this question all day long with your teammates. Favorite player all time in Major League Baseball, and also favorite team. Jason, we'll start with you.
I'm a big Mike Trout guy. He's a great player. He plays the game how it's supposed to be played. He doesn't bring much drama into it. And I'm a big Braves fan just because I got family there and we go to a lot of the games.
I was a big Chipper fan growing up. Watched him my entire life, kind of modeled my game after his. Going through high school, kind of had to change that coming here, different positions. But, like Juck, I'm a big Braves fan. Being about 30 minutes away from the stadium kind of helps.
Very good. Jason Jucker, Ryan Roon, we look forward to seeing you guys in action here at Gil Cohen Field. Congratulations on your college career thus far. We look forward to plenty more successes beginning this weekend versus Piedmont. Thanks for joining the show, guys.
Yes, Thanks for having us.
All right. Jason Jucker and Ryan Roon. Two more of those Brevard College student athletes who you'll have the opportunity to see this weekend at Gil Cohen Field for the home opening series. Opening day scheduled for Friday, tomorrow at 2 p.m. As we're joined now by Ben Melton and JJ Wilkes.
How you doing?
Great to see these two. Couple veterans of Tornado Talk. Just a different location for us this time. Well, guys, season opening weekend in terms of the home opener versus Piedmont here at Gil Cohen Field. How good does that feel to finally get here to this point where it's time for baseball right here on campus?
Well, it feels good to be playing where we've been practicing for the last few months and not having to wake up on game day in a hotel room or leave at 5:30 in the morning. So excited to get out there.
Well, it's really good because, like you say, it is a home series. We're able to kind of stick with our routine that we would as to live hitting at practice or whatever. We kind of model our BP after what we would do as to BP before a game. So it's more comfortable, just being able to play on a home field, defending this house, defending this field. So.
And 2 weeks in the books, both road series at William Peace and at Guilford. Did get the win at Guilford on Saturday the 15th. Can we reflect back on that game a little bit, sort of the twists and turns of all that? Whenever you see a 12-11 final score, you know it was a wild affair. Can each of you kind of reflect back on that day?
Well, that game specifically, we just never let up. I want to say we scored second. It was bottom of the second inning or so, but we just kept pushing. We didn't settle. We weren't comfortable in the position that we were in because we knew that we were going to have to keep swinging. We were going to have to keep making plays. And I feel like we just all came together and we did all our roles as a collective team.
Yeah, and I think I've never ran up and down the dugout so much in and out, just not having a voice after the game from yelling so much.
Really, that kind of fireworks happening throughout the game, huh?
Yeah.
It was definitely a lot of energy going on in that dugout.
Very good. Well, appreciate you guys kind of giving us sort of the inside feel of what it was like this past weekend. Now, Ben, would like listeners and viewers to get to know you a little better. Out of Valdez, North Carolina, Drawn High School, a junior right-handed pitcher, wears number 27 on the field. Can you reflect back? When did you start playing baseball?
I was probably 4 or 5 years old, and then just didn't really play t-ball. Went straight into coach pitch just because of how my birthday fell or something like that, and my dad told him that I would be fine moving up to the coach pitch. So just from there, and then played infield and pitcher pretty much all the time. They stuck me in the outfield a few times and realized probably wasn't the best move, so I came back to the infield, and since then played third base and pitcher and first base kind of everywhere until I got here. And then I knew I just wanted to pitch when I got here just because I love competing on the mound. I love being involved every play, so that's what I wanted to do.
And same question for you, JJ, out of Charlotte, North Carolina, Philip O. Berry Academy of Technology. When did you start playing baseball?
I started playing baseball probably about 4 or 5. Just like Ben said, I've just always been on a diamond. Baseball is in my blood. Really bounced around different positions all over. Last season was my first season playing first, and then I kind of just got adjusted to it, accepted my role, and yeah, been good.
And JJ, certainly a big part of our offense here at Brevard College. A key part of the lineup. I asked the last two guests about Coach Hucke, and sort of what he's bringing to you guys as hitters. Can you talk a little further, maybe how personally he's helped you?
Well, Coach Hucke and as well as Coach Vic have been preaching to us all season, just do simple better. So what Coach Hucke has done for me personally and the rest of our hitters, he's taken what we have already built up and just slightly fine-tuned it to make our swings better, get better contact on the ball, better bat speed, just trusting our hands and everything, seeing the ball deep, see the ball, hit ball. So Coach Hucke has really done a lot for us, and we just bought into his logic, and it's been going.
And now, Ben, head coach Mike Victory with a big-time pitching background, and also assistant coach Rob Julian, the pitching coach. So you've got two resources there. Can you talk about those two and perhaps how they've helped your game?
Oh yeah, well they've helped a lot, and they continue to help me improve. And bringing Driveline in was something I really love. I feel my arms felt better than it ever has. And then as far as Coach Julian making the lifts that we do, my body feels better than ever. And then Coach Vic giving physical representations of stuff to work on the mound, and where you want to try to get to is something we have lacked, I feel, here in the past. And so I like having that because I'm more of a visual person. I need to see everything going on, so it's been beneficial to me.
Very good. And Ben, a business major, can you shed some light to folks, what your future plans may be with that degree?
So I'd like to go into marketing for a major sports team, doing graphic design on the computers and making advertisements and stuff like that, and then maybe even branch out into doing interviews and stuff like that for the team, and just something to do with sports and marketing, because I like promoting sports, whether it's at a high level or at a young level. I just love being involved with anything to go on in sports. So yeah, and I don't like numbers that much. So
well, and appreciate and want to thank you, Ben, for your assistance, helping our operation of the athletic department, and hopefully you're able to gain some valuable experience from that as you continue to march towards that career goal. Now, JJ, an exercise science major, thoughts as far as what you may want to do career-wise?
I would like to develop my own exercise program to just make available to the market. I feel like that the body's physical has a lot to do with our emotional standings or whatever. So if a person isn't where they want to be, I feel like I could step in and improve in any way that I can, and that way that I feel is through exercise. So yes, sir.
Very good. Well, it looks like the snow is starting to slow down out there, but the bottom line is the Gilcohen field is white right now, from the snow. I asked a couple of the other players this, but would like to hear from your perspective, because a lot of people might not realize what all goes on behind the scenes. But you guys were preparing, the playing surface, throughout this week, but also, just kind of a day-to-day thing. Everybody chips in and helps out. Right. From the student-athlete perspective, can you kind of talk about that as far as, your responsibilities around the ballpark?
Well, we all have pretty much designated responsibilities. We just, as captains, we just make sure that everything does get done in the way that it needs to be. So as far as the field conditions now, yesterday we had big field day, getting up the corners, getting the edges right and everything, putting a protective layer of turfus on the field so that we can be ready to play tomorrow. Our field holds a lot of water, so we're going to hope that the snow will slow down enough so that it will melt by tomorrow and we can just, get all the water off the field. So, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much like he said, we take a lot of pride in the field, and, we've had 2 weeks since, we've had to really work on it because we've been on the road. But, the time is here, and we've got it good yesterday. So we're just hoping all this can go away and we can get the water off and be able to play.
Yeah, the 3-game series versus Piedmont scheduled for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Keys to the victory this weekend, guys?
I say execution. We know that we're prepared for this. We know that they're not gonna throw anything at us that we haven't seen before, because we're NATO baseball. We got this. So I feel like that if we execute, play the roles that we all know that we are part of this team, then we'll be successful.
And I'd say execution too, just doing all of our jobs, whether it's pitching, hitting, fielding, executing our jobs, and that way at the end of the day we can come together and we've won the ball game, and yeah, that's it.
So a lot of prospective high school student athletes and also families, who might be considering colleges and shopping around tend to tune in to Tornado Talk. And so I'd like you to gear this next answer perhaps towards that audience. Now that you guys have been here at Brevard College as student athletes and, been able to experience Brevard College and this part of the country and everything, can you kind of sum up, why this is a good move for a high school student to come and be a student athlete for the Tornadoes?
Well, me personally, coming from a big city, I felt that I needed to get out of my comfort zone in order to expand my educational horizons as well as playing baseball. So I did find that at Brevard College. One of the main reasons that I came for it was the educational aspect. Also, Brevard College has, I want to say, 75% athletes, so it's really a culture of student athletes. Everybody is in the same classes. We know that we have to get our work done before we can go to any practice, play any game, or any of that. So I feel like it's really ingrained in the Brevard College community that school comes first and then our athletics is second. So.
Yeah, and personally, for me coming here, the small classes appealed to me, and I think that appeals to a lot of people more than they think until they get here and they kind of see how, if they're able to see relationships that students have with like their professors and they're able to go talk to them and they're an actual person in a classroom instead of just a number in a class of 300 kids, and then like being an athlete, they work really well with you when you have to miss, or in like for us as baseball players, we have to reschedule and play on a Monday. It's we just send our teachers an email and they're like, yeah, that's fine, like go win a ball game. Yeah. And so that's what I like.
Yeah, but of course you all as student athletes have to do your part in keeping your side of the street clean and right. Making sure all your responsibilities are met. Well, appreciate you guys sharing that. Before
I'd like to say that I'm 1 for 1 on getting guys to commit here. Had to commit the other week, stayed with us, and committed here yesterday. So.
And 1,000 batting average in that department.
That's right.
Not too bad, Ben. Well, before I let you go, a fun question we've been tossing off everybody, I'm sure you guys heard us talking about it. Favorite Major League Baseball player and favorite team?
Well, growing up, my favorite player was Derek Jeter. Try to model my game after him. He's a very respectable man, like in all the aspects of life. Now I'd say being a first baseman, I look a lot up to Freddie Freeman. He's a big role model for me.
Yeah, I like watching Jeter, and so I kind of followed the Yankees while he was playing. But since then, the 2017 Astros, they kind of did. They didn't. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
I like the.
He's talking about a hot take.
Yeah. No, I pull for the Dodgers, so I don't really like the Astros. But yeah, I pull for the Dodgers now. And,
by the way, Ben,
nice.
Your delivery on that Astros joke was perfect. Like total, like straight man. Like you would never know that's coming. Try to catch the host off guard.
Yeah.
Great job. And fun stuff. And guys, it's gonna be fun to watch you guys all season long right here at Gil Cohen Field. Ben Melton, JJ Wilkes, great job on the show today. Thanks for joining.
Thanks for having me.
All right, two of those captains, Ben Melton and JJ Wilkes, who will be in action this weekend right here at Gil Cohen Field for the home opening series. As we're joined now by Kross Robinson and Trystan Jones. Gentlemen, thanks for joining the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Special edition of Tornado Talk right here at Gil Cohen Field on the eve of opening day. Snow is slowing down. If not, it's perhaps stopped now. So now it's time to get into sort of like, okay, can we pull off this 2 p.m. first pitch tomorrow? But hopefully all the work you guys have done in advance is going to make it smooth this weekend. Well, gentlemen, season opening weekend here at Gilcohen Field. Can you kind of talk about how good that feels to be here at home and finally get things kicked off?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always exciting when you get to play at home. You know, you got your home crowd, you got family, your friends, you know, classmates and whatnot. So we're really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think I mean we're both seniors, so we're definitely looking forward to getting our last season here at Brevard College ready and kicked off, and at the home field. I think it's going to be a good experience.
Now, you mentioned you're both seniors, indeed the case, and I mentioned this to a couple of the other seniors. You know, it's a whole different mentality once you're entering your senior season, and you know we've got a strong senior class this year. Can you kind of give folks a little bit of inside knowledge on what you guys have perhaps been talking about as a senior, fellow seniors, and how important it is for this year for you guys to have a big year?
Right. Yeah. I mean, for the most part, we've been together for 4 years, and things haven't quite turned out the way we wanted for the past 3. So we're just looking to finish off strong.
Yeah, I kind of look at it as this is our best shot and last shot to do what we can, do everything we can to be successful in college. For most of us, this is going to be our last season, so we're trying to make the most of it and kind of just have as much fun as possible. And
a new coaching staff for you all, led by head coach Mike Victory, also assistant coaches Rob Julian and Steve Hucke. Kross, we'll start with you. Two of those 3 coaches have extensive pitching backgrounds, and I'm sure I've been working with you individually on some things. Can you kind of let folks behind the curtain a little bit about how individually those 2 coaches have helped you?
Right. Yeah. I can't say enough about Coach Julian, Coach Victory, Coach Hucke, all of them, but especially Coach Julian and Coach Victory. They've taken a lot of their time to come down, help with bullpens, watch video if they need to, and just really do what they can to get me and everybody else prepared for the season.
And Trystan, same question for you, and in particular, Coach Hucke in those batting cages. I know has been working with a lot of you guys on the hitting side.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he came in, he kind of grabbed it by the reins, took over when it comes to the hitting process and stuff. I mean, obviously, Coach Victory and Coach Julian were both pitchers. They know a lot about pitching and stuff like that, but Coach Hucke came in and kind of showed us, his philosophy on hitting and shared it with us. And I think most of the guys have kind of, we've taken that and we've really rolled with it, and we've adjusted what we've been doing for the past few years, and we're trying to, hit balls hard in places that guys aren't at. So,
Kross, a senior out of Morganton, North Carolina, R.L. Patton High School. Can you talk about your journey in baseball, and maybe how the road eventually narrowed and you said, hey, this is what I want to do for as long as I can?
Right. Yeah. So when I was younger, I grew up playing, basketball, baseball, football. Always liked baseball the best. Everything else was just kind of something to get me through the off season. Through middle school and first good portion of high school, I was just, I was kind of one of those guys that got some innings here and there maybe. I went through a lot of injuries in high school. Came back from that, and I was able to, put in some work my senior year, and really had no idea that playing after high school was even an option. And then came up here for a visit, and it's the best decision I've ever made.
And Trystan, a senior catcher out of Mars Hill, North Carolina, so not that far from here in Brevard, North Carolina. Can you talk about, just like Kross did, sort of when you became a ball player per se, and then ultimately wound up here at Brevard College?
Yeah, I mean, like most of the guys I'm sure that you've talked to today, we all start really young. I started, for as long as I can remember, I've been playing baseball, probably 3 or 4 years old. And it was never really an option for me not to play baseball. And I don't mean that to say that my parents forced me to. For me, I never wanted to not play baseball. And then I guess when middle school came around, I was on the team, but kind of like Kross, I never got a whole lot of playing time. We got into high school, I kind of hit some growth spurt and started buying into what my coach was trying to share with me, and I started playing. And again, he was one of those guys always talking about like what was next after high school. It was never an option not to play for me. I never thought about what if I can't go play, and then I came to Brevard on a visit, and they offered, they said you can come play for us, and the school fit my personality and what I was looking for in academics and everything, and I decided to stay.
It's always interesting for me to have a pitcher and a catcher together in the same conversation. So would like folks to kind of learn even a little more sort of mechanically what happens, and how important it is that for you guys to, work together, be on the same page, have the right chemistry, all those things. Kross, we'll start from you. As far as a pitcher goes, how important is it for you to have confidence in that catcher?
Yeah, I mean, that's the most important thing. I think it definitely helps that I get to spend every single day with him. We live together, so it's kind of the only option I have. But no, it's great. I know when TJ's catching for me, I know that he's the kind of guy he's not going to pull any punches. If he sees something wrong or he sees that, I'm being lazy or I'm dragging my arm or something, he's going to call me out on it in a heartbeat. And I think that's exactly what a pitcher needs from his catcher.
And Trystan, I'd like to take it from this perspective for you. There's a deep pitching staff here at Brevard College. So, in a lot of different styles, some coming even from the right side, others from the left. Can you talk about that as far as a catcher goes and how you have to be able to adapt to whatever pitcher happens to be on the mound?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's important. We've got a big group of catchers this year, and I think it's important as the season goes on in the fall and even into early spring for those catchers, each and every one of us, to take turns trying to catch every pitcher we have at least once, because you never know when you're in the game who's going to go on the mound next. Obviously, you've got a starter, but he may only go 4 or 5 innings, and that next guy that goes in, you might not have a say on who comes in. And if it's somebody that you haven't caught yet, you're going to be trying to get it as much out of those first 8 pitches as you can. So I think the most important thing is taking the bullpen seriously as a catcher, taking the inner squads as serious as possible, especially when you've got someone that you've not caught before. I mean, obviously I've been here with Kross for 4 years, so I know pretty much what to expect out of him. But for, say, a freshman like Sam Goude, he comes on the mound, I haven't caught him before, and he throws a pretty nasty slider. I don't know what's coming, so and that makes me look bad, it makes him look bad, and it's not good for the team morale. So I think the most important thing is making sure that you take your practice time serious, especially as a catcher.
Yeah, that preparation is critical, it sounds like. Well, you're both criminal justice majors. Could you shed some light about that, what that course – let's go this direction, because I've been asking other guys, hey, what do you want to do with your degree and so forth. But can you – now that you're seniors, what does a criminal justice major at Brevard College, what's that experience like?
It's great. We've got a guy who runs the program, Dr. Powers. Can't say enough about him. He's done so much for the both of us. He, just really goes to bat for us anytime we need him to. I think as far as the program as a whole, it's a really good program. They do a lot for each and every student, and their main goal is to make sure as soon as you're done, they're putting you somewhere, making sure you have a job.
And some real hands-on type experiences throughout the coursework too, right, Trystan?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, so they really focus. Each and every professor focuses on experiential learning. I mean, that's a big thing here at Brevard. But the criminal justice program, I think, takes it to another level, because there's only so much in the criminal justice field that you can learn by reading books and listening to a professor lecture. And those professors that teach in the criminal justice program, they understand that, especially Dr. Powers. And he tries to get as much hands-on stuff as possible. I mean, there's a crime scene investigations class, and I mean, that class is all hands-on. There's not a whole lot of book stuff at all to it. I mean, you get to take a crime scene, break it down, and I mean, it's at one point you even look at maggots and see how long they've been there to predict how long the body's been there, which I think is great. I mean, it doesn't smell the best, but it's a great opportunity, especially for someone interested in a more advanced level of criminal justice than just being a law enforcement officer or going into law school after this.
And for each of you, now that you've experienced all this coursework and gotten to know all these different areas within criminal justice, is there something that's particularly caught your eye as far as something you eventually may want to get into?
Not 100% sure yet. I'm a pre-law minor, so I was kind of interested in that. So right now for me, I'm just kind of focused on playing baseball after this, and then see what happens after that.
Yeah, I'm actually going through the hiring process right now with the Marceau Police Department, so I'm really attracted to just the gun in the fight kind of thing, and going at it as best I can to help out the little guy, if you will. I'm not huge on all that science stuff. The maggots is cool, but it's not really something I want to be doing every day. So, and I'm not a huge reader either, so the law section is kind of out of my wheelhouse as well.
Well, I'm glad you found your sweet spot, and it sounds like you're going to get it done back home as well, so congrats on that. Before I let you go, seniors who have been here around Brevard College and have been great student athletes, for anyone who may be watching this program and who may be on the fence whether Brevard College is the school that they'll wind up as a student athlete, what would be your message to them as far as, why this would make sense to them?
Right. I think for me the biggest thing was, every kid going to college, you worry about, okay, I'm going to be away from my friends and my family. And I think coming to Brevard, especially as a student athlete, as soon as you step on campus, you have a group of friends. You have those guys that, you're going to be with every single day for the 9 months out of the year that you're here. And I think that's huge. You have no choice but to make friends and to get close, and that's something that is automatically going to happen as soon as you step on campus.
Yeah, and I was one of those kids like he's talking about. I mean, I didn't have a whole lot of friends in high school, just the baseball team, and I was worried, who am I going to hang out with? Are these kids going to be like me? Are they going to have the same interests? And like he said, as soon as I stepped on campus, I was, right there with all the other freshmen. We started hanging out with the upperclassmen and stuff like that. I would say for someone looking to come play baseball here, if you want to join a winning program and you want to get after it as best as you can with some coaches that know what they're talking about, I think this is the place to be. We may not show it right now on our record, but we'll get there eventually. We're putting in the work as much as we can.
Very good. Very well said, gentlemen. Last thing, I would be remiss not to give you the same opportunity I did all your fellow teammates. Favorite player all time and also favorite Major League Baseball team?
I would say growing up, I really liked watching Tim Lincecum. Thought he was a fun pitcher to watch, and he was explosive. He was a velocity guy, so I liked watching him. As far as like a more recent player, I'm kind of drawn to Mike Clevenger with the Indians. As far as a team, I'm more of a player guy, but I definitely pull for the Indians, and the Padres have a couple of pitchers that I'm really rooting for. So.
Yeah, I guess the one guy I would have to say I based my gameplay after is Yadier Molina. When I was just learning how to catch, I watched a lot of videos on him and the things that he does to get himself better and prepare for the game and stuff. And I think that helped me a lot because especially in high school, when you're especially learning a new position, you got one or two coaches and they can't focus on every guy at the same time. And so as a catcher, I just really had to take it by the reins myself. And watching him on YouTube and stuff really helped me out a lot. I don't watch a whole lot of baseball, so I don't know a whole lot about the teams and stuff. Probably the Indians, though. I liked what they did in the World Series against the Cubs. Obviously, they didn't win, but I did like their attitude and their approach to everything.
Very good. Kross Robinson, Trystan Jones, two more of these tornadoes that you'll have the opportunity to see this weekend versus Piedmont. Great job on the show today. Good luck this weekend and all season long.
Thank you.
All right. That was Kross Robinson and Trystan Jones, two of those senior Tornado student athletes, and that'll wrap up the guest portion of this special edition of Tornado Talk. We brought you this program live from Gilcone Field, the press box up here at Gilcone Field on the eve of opening day for the Tornadoes. This weekend's series has been dubbed the Gilcone Memorial Series in honor of Brevard College alumnus and legend Gilcone senior, class of 1941, also a former coach here at Brevard College who went on to a sensational Major League Baseball career. And our thoughts and prayers are with the family of Gilcone. Well, I want to thank all who made today's special edition of Brevard College Tornado Talk possible, this special edition, baseball edition, on the eve of opening weekend here at Gilcone Field. We had several guests on the show: Coach Mike Victory, Coach Rob Julian, and Coach Steve Hucke, Bryce Foster, Jakob Dennis, Sam Goude, Brandin Johnson, Christian Ezzell, Brett Burchett, Donny Carsillo, Johnny Flynn, Jason Jucker, Ryan Roon, Ben Melton, JJ Wilkes, and Kross Robinson, as well as Trystan Jones. I want to thank all of those student athletes for joining the program, and want to again remind you, 3-game series this weekend versus Piedmont. Friday, 2 p.m., Saturday at 1 p.m., and Sunday at 1 p.m. right here at Gilcone Field. Hope you can make it out here to the ballpark, and there'll be games all season long through April as well. Just go to bctornadoes.com for all the latest and to find that schedule and information, and follow Brevard College Tornadoes on social media for any scheduling updates. Want to thank you once again for tuning into the special edition of Tornado Talk. Go Tornadoes.